All my devices. Good evening. Good evening, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Good evening. Bless you, bless you, bless you, bless you, bless you. If you're watching on Facebook, it's good to see you. It's exciting today. We have so much to talk about, and deliberately, I didn't invite guests today because I don't want people to be shy. When you have a controversial topic, people tend to be shy, and I don't want to put anybody on the spot. So that's why we're going on. Sorry, I'm just checking my other device to ensure that we're connected. We're connected live on Facebook and then share to my other platform. Share to Facebook and viewers. Right. Right. Good. Good evening, everyone. If you're watching me on Facebook, I'll try and monitor it on here and see. Yeah, right. Good evening. Right, I can see two people online that have joined us. Just waiting for a few more people to join us online. Tonight we're talking about sex and sex toys. My name is Dolapo Agoro Adeniyi, and I'm presenting the Wise Builders tonight. And I normally present Wise Builders every Wednesdays, 8:30 p.m. Wow. I thought I was going to get some people in the studio today, people that are skeptical of coming to the studio. When it comes to things like sex and sex toys, we don't want to talk about it. And I am of the opinion that that's the hypocrisy that we found ourselves. Hello, Mommy Bimpe, Oloidede, Nelson, bless you, ma. Hello, good evening to you. Good evening, Facebook and all other platforms. So tonight we are talking about sex and sex toys. You see, one of the issue with us in Christianity is we all don't like to confront the truth, or we say things the way they are. Nobody wants to be controversial. I'm not controversial, but I deal with things. I don't run from the truth. I say things the way they are, and the ones I can't say, I shut up my mouth. But I just feel we need to talk about all these things. So get ready for an exciting time. Let's wait 1 or 2 minutes for people to join us. And like I said, I didn't send invite to guests today. I just left them so that they won't be on the spot and people will be free to watch it silently or quietly and then make their comment. So we're talking about sex and sex toys. What do we know about sex toys? Every one of us know. Yes, ma'am, Mommy Bimpe, yes, we have to be real. Yes, we need to. There's no point in faking ourselves. Mommy Remi Agro, Pabamida, bless you, my amen. We can't start faking ourselves at this age and time. And if you look at every one of us, sex is so important to everybody. Somebody's just coming. I'm going to mute them. So I'll just quickly mute everyone that comes in. I'm just waiting for somebody to come in so I can mute all. Once they come in, yeah, except to myself. And then I'll spotlight myself. Pin video, right. Right, we're good to go. Sorry, yeah. So we have to be real. Every one of us, we know what is called sex. And most of us, we've had sex before. sex. Most of us, we've had sex before. And especially those of us that are married. Tonight, we'll talk about sex for the singles. We'll go into the singles. We'll talk about the married. But most importantly, we'll talk more in the context of marital relationship, but we'll talk generally as it affects every one of us. And like I said, every one of us, this is what we do. That's the problem. Yes, Mommy Bimpe Olojede said, yeah, hypocrisy. Yeah, I love this topic. I need to share it. Please, thank you, ma. Hypocrisy is what is killing us, and that's what is affecting our marriages. And you see marriages breaking up. you see relationship not being strong, or you see extramarital thing, that means this thing called sex is very important. Let's not lie, it's very, very important. We need to groom our children, our daughters. How many of us actually sit our children down to talk to them about sex? I haven't done that, you know. But my son is just going to be 16. So, but after 16, so we need to groom them, especially 18. Daughters, groom them. The expectation when they are married, the things to do, we just speak about it as if it's sacrilegious, sacrilegious, and it's nothing to be talked about. So I'll go, I'll fire on tonight. Please drop your comment. It says, sex is this act, is the symbol and the expression of that thing. When you go to the Bible, that's the genesis of it. The issue about living and cleaving, which is Genesis 2:24, that a man will leave his wife. I'm going to read for you. Therefore, a man shall leave his wife and mother and hold fast to his wife, and two of us shall become one, or two of them. So we are talking in the context of, so it is something that God recommends. It is very essential. We'll talk about the importance of it, why we don't have sex. Then we'll go into sex toys. I'll leave sex toys to the latter part of it, because of the fact that it's one thing that leads to the other. And it's the avoidance of sex or abstinence of sex that makes people now start going using sex toys. So now let's talk about it. So this sex thing is the essence of marriage. It kind of, it's a lubricant. I've talked about it before. So it's a bond between a man and a woman. Sex is actually a bond between a man and a woman. So sexual union, that it places a relationship. The difference between my relationship and your relationship is the fact that, you know, for me and you, could be platonic, will be on the surface. But for somebody that we're married, that's what differentiates you. That's what makes you husband. Yeah, your vows pronounces you as husband and wife. But if you are not consummating it, what's the essence of you coming together? So it's that thing that every one of us, no matter how pretend we long for, we look forward to. On the night of that thing, where our body is shaking. And if you're a woman, if the man does not perform on that night, you first think, no matter how religious you are, you just say, okay, let's assume he was tired, this festival. And can you imagine on your wedding night, and you're thinking, okay, he's just tired, he's just tired. In the morning, he's still tired. You see that by evening, you open your mouth, oh boy, what's going on here? That is, we are all expecting it, we are all longing for it, we all know it. So it is very, very essential. So, and there's something I'm going to lay emphasis on as I'm laying the grounds. Please feel free to drop your comment as we go on. As I'm laying the grounds for this, the way I teach is I go from I just teach and in stages so that we understand, and then people joining us can understand. If you look at the book of First Corinthians, because you might be thinking, why is she talking about it? I know some people who are senior and say, oh, believer pastor. Yeah, wasting your time. These are people that go hypocrites. They are the ones that go behind and then we hear things. Let's teach it. Let's know that if you can talk about eating, is a food for married couple, is a food. So what is there? There's nothing not to talk about in sex. It's in the Bible. It is essential. Jesus spoke about it. Apostle Paul spoke about it. And if we look at it, this sex has caused a lot of problem in Bible. So why are we still doing the same thing, falling because we don't want to talk about it? So First Corinthians 7:3-5 says, a husband should satisfy his wife's needs, and a wife should satisfy her husband's need. That is, a woman has a need. Can you imagine? I'm reading from New International Revised Version. You see, a husband should satisfy his wife's needs. A wife should satisfy her husband's needs. The wife's body does not belong only to her. And we'll talk about that as relates to sex toy and toys and everything now. The wife's body does not belong only to her. It also belongs to the husband. So when you are married, it's not about me. Your body belongs to him. His body belongs to you. You shouldn't stop giving yourselves to each other. Did you hear that? No restriction. Somebody used the topic last week and we all looked at her somehow. That's why some people are not coming live on it, because I remember there was a gentleman that mentioned about oral sex last 3 weeks, and people looked at him as if he had committed a crime. The man was just expressing himself that he has oral sex with his wife. That's your business. That is, and they are Christians. That is their own marriage. We should face our own front, face our own home, sort out our own life. Jesus is talking about we should stop removing a peck from people's eyes when we have log in our own eyes. Every one of us, we have issues that we need to deal with in our home. So let people just be free. And that's the reason why people are not free. People are doing this because people are not free to express themselves. We choke them. We look at them. The moment they talk about sex, they have started. These unbelievers is a lie. In the night, they will go and sleep with their wife, or or they will start doing things on the ground. So let's go on. You said, I said you might possibly do this when both, okay, you shouldn't stop giving yourself to each other. You might possibly do this when you both agree to it, and should only agree to it to give yourself time to pray. That is abstinence. It's only for time to pray. Fasting and prayer, we've just finished 3 days fasting and prayer. For those of people that fasted, yeah, during those short period, I don't give my church members 20 days, 30 days, 50 days fasting. It's unrealistic. I'll give you 3 days. So after that, like somebody used that word last week, they can bank themselves. Yeah, to give them another 3 days, start another 7 days. Just make it short and realistic, and give somebody 40 days and every night they are easing at their wife, and the fast is not acceptable. So then you should come together again. In that way, Satan will not tempt you where you can't control yourself. That means to say, this thing you can lose control. Let's be very realistic. You can lose control when it comes to sex. So it's very, very essential for us to understand the fact that when we don't do it right, it's possible one of us could lose control. So that she starts sleeping around, or she start looking for sex toys, and she start having urges, or he start sleeping around, or start having urges. Let's be very realistic. The Bible has talked about it. You cannot abstain. Abstinence will make your. So one of the issues I have is for the Bible to treat it. He knows that we are flesh and blood at the same time as we are spirits. So there's blood and flesh running in a man's veins that makes him have his libido high, or his Mr. Man stands up in the night without anybody. So you can't say you are speaking in tongues. I have a story of some women that when they get to bed in the night and it's time for the real thing, they will start praying and speaking in tongues. The man should just chase our room out. That's being religious. There's time for everything. Study time is study time. Prayer time is prayer time. Pastor, I was going to bring you as a guest. Pastor Taya Ajibade, bless you. So I was going to bring you as a guest when I remembered you today, but I said, oh my God, it was a short notice. I would have brought you in as a guest, because that's a very realistic pastor that celebrates marriage unity. In fact, I love you, sir, not in the context of agape love, sir, because I don't want first lady to come after me. God bless you, sir. I'm going to read Pastor Tayo's comment. He said, you are right. It has been observed that sex is the greatest cause of marital woes, coming ahead of money. Yes, sir. Hiding under the gap of spirituality and refusing to talk about it is not helpful at all. Pretenses won't get Christians anywhere. Thank you, sir. I'm listening, woman of God. Thank you, Pastor. God bless you, sir. We love men bold, celebrating their wives, celebrating their marriage. They are united, they are in love, and they are not ashamed to talk about it, because this thing is real. And it's like, if I borrow Pastor Tayo's words, it's one of the woes, it's one of the things that brings marriages down. It's the abstinence. We drive our men out, or we drive our women out. I have a case of a woman, and that's why we're going to talk about sex toys tonight. I had to beg her. I talk about these things because people come to me in confidence. She's married, she's been married, and she's got a child, a son. And the man doesn't touch her. Listen, after a woman has tasted it, or a man has tasted it, especially after marriage, it becomes difficult to abstain. It's easier. That's why Apostle Paul was talking to the singles. It's so easy when you are single to abstain. Another set of people that we're going to talk about that difficult for them to abstain is divorcees, widows, or that's why the Bible even talks about widows. Below 60, go and remarry. They find it difficult. Widows, widowers, divorcees, single parents, single mother, because they've tasted it before. They've experienced the passion. They long for it. So they're talking to you, you're counseling, they say, hey, you are not a godly sister. Go and get your Bible. You want to kill them. You have to empathize with them. It's not easy. When you have not tasted it, when you are still single, it's easy because you can't crave for what you don't know. If you've not given me plantain, I love plantain. If I see plantain in the market, it doesn't make sense to me because I've not tasted it. But the moment you've given me a plantain or banana to eat, I know the sweetness of it. I enjoy it. When I see it, I long for it. I know the case with children. If you have little children, once you are drinking canned coke, we used to have some of my in the Lord in church, when they are still babies and we're doing something, they see coke or bottle, they don't know what's inside of it. The moment you give it to them like this, you're in trouble anytime they see you. So such is the passion of those other women, mature women, mature men. So if we don't empathize with them or come down to their level to listen to how they feel, then we are doing injustice, and we are promoting promiscuity within the church. So avoidance, going back to avoidance can result so much in emotional distress for people, a lot of emotional distress, shame and low self-esteem. When a woman, like I said to you, this woman, she was, I think that's at that time 4 years into marriage or 3 years, but they got a son, and the man will not touch her. This one will be crying. She said there's nothing she does. Pretty woman, the man will not touch her. This woman said she got to move to this. As at the time she called me, she'd already bought the toy. I said to her, please tell me, how does it look? How does it work? She started laughing. She started laughing and say, oh, Pastor. I said, and I came down to her level. I said, I don't mean to ridiculous, or I don't mean to be funny. I've never seen it. I don't pray to see it. I don't want to. But I just said, tell me, how does it look? And she now changed because she knew my interest. She now said, oh, she's not used it, but she described the way it is, that she's not used it, but she's aiming to use it. So I started counseling her for a period of like 2 or 3 weeks. She disengaged eventually. Maybe she's ready to use it. I'm sure she just thought this woman doesn't know. But I felt for her. Sleeping with that beside your husband, a married woman, you have everything. And the man will turn his back on you 3 months. I have a lady as well. She did it for 6 months. She's packed her back out of the house now. And you're saying such people should not divorce? Do you want to kill them? Mentally, avoidance can bring emotional distress, shame, low self-esteem for people because they feel so rejected. Can you imagine, as a woman, you have everything. A man saw you, he loved you, and we're talking of in the context of Christianity. He loves you, he loves everything. He brought you home. After first 2 nights, he started turning his back at you. And then you are now, you can't go out again. You're married. And and we know as believers, we have to hold fast to our marriage. So what are we talking about? So these are the issues, for I'll just go into in a broad sense, so I'll say why people avoid sex, because we have to understand the reason why some people avoid sex. Some women avoid sex because of childhood sexual abuse. So you have to understand, to go deep into it. I didn't want to use the root cause of it. I just said let's go straight. Some people, they have been raped, or they have been abused, or taken advantage of. Same for men, they get distracted. So you have to try and understand, if your partner is like that, there's underlying thing why they are not enjoying sex. Sex has to be enjoyed. It's called love making. You have sex with somebody you don't love, but obviously the legal term for the whole thing is, the generic term is sex. But once you are married, it becomes a passion. You're celebrating your love. A friend of mine said to me that recently what she does is, when they want to make love, herself and her husband, they've been married for almost 20 years, they're not putting spices. In fact, when she told me, she said they will put like gospel music or any kind of music that will settle the atmosphere, because if not, sometimes you're tired, and then they will relax on the bed, try to explore each other's body and things like that before going into the actual main thing of love making. We're going to talk about it. So women, can you imagine, for women, we're emotional beings. Your emotions, if a woman has been put off, no matter what, even after marriage, they suffer. So if you fall into such category that you marry a woman that's been abused, or a woman that doesn't love sex, try and find out there's underneath or underlying issues. So pregnant women as well. Some women get distracted or discouraged from sex after marriage, because first thing you're thinking that, you don't want something to affect the baby, the fetus, or something. or you don't have to have miscarriage and things like that. But that shouldn't deter you from. Yes, you can be careful in the early stage, but medically it is proven that even you have to use men lubricate them. That's why it's you are supposed to lubricate them towards delivery. They said they assist the passage. I remember those days when I was pregnant, they used to tell me that, yeah, allow your husband more because it will be easier for you during, at the end of the day, it wasn't easier for me. I still had cesarean section, I wasn't open. But what I'm trying to say, they said I didn't experience that. At the end of the day, it didn't work for me. But but generally, what I'm saying, that the reason why women avoid sex is because they feel it can affect the baby. Men, now flipping to men, men avoiding sex is because of erectile dysfunction. Most men that avoid sex is because they have bad libido or chronic medical condition. Some they don't know, or some they lack the opportunity, they don't know. You see, we have issues where you are experienced woman, and then your man maybe wasn't experienced. You have to take your time. Such man, sometimes a young man that got married told me that, was celibate before marriage, as an abstinence, said the first night he was just messed about. But the woman was kind of mature, or the lady was mature. She's had it before. So but don't be shy, don't pretend. Let's stop pretending. Fair enough. As believers, some of you shouldn't have sex, but some of us had sex before we got born again. So let's stop. Don't pretend. If you had it before, don't tell your husband you've not had it before. If he's the novice or the new one, teach him, talk him through it. But most men, is because of the fact that they have issues. So when a man, usually, I had a case I dealt with some years ago, and once I was in Dagenham, the man just would not yield. It was because he had some problems until and he wouldn't want to talk about it. Men are clever with that. When they are avoiding, they don't want to talk about it. Some of them Christian, I love my Christian brother. They'll say they are fasting and pray. After 40 days fasting, they'll go on 60-day fasting. After 365 days, you fast 300 days. Jesus Christ has died now. He's redeemed us now. Are you the Jesus that you want to redeem the whole world? It's a lie. You have to satisfy your wife. So if you have problem, speak to her. She's the bone of your bone. Let her know that, babe, you know what? There is some issue. It could be health issue, chronic issues that's bothering your mind. Another one is when people have pain, chronic pain, especially back pain and couple of things. It affects people. So I'm just trying and I'm laying foundation. Don't worry. I'm sure some of you say, oh, you are getting bored. But somebody said to me, oh, I'm not going to come in live on your platform tonight because you're talking about sex. People don't want to talk about fair enough. I'll do my job myself. So medical condition like diabetes, obesity, always reduces sexual activity. So men, it's good for, especially men. When it comes to sex, both of you are important. But I think it's the nowadays, I don't want but I think the men does most of the job. So it's good when a man is fit. So if you're a man, try and be fit to satisfy your wife so that she doesn't start looking outside for satisfaction. So poor personality, I said that earlier on, and poor sleep pattern and things like that. And then I read, because I did a bit of research, background research medically into this before I came online, things like antidepressant as well, medication, those affect it. So when you find out that your libido is as in the man is the thing is not standing very well. That's what is called libido. It's not standing the way it should stand. Try as much as possible to speak to your doctor. So I'm going to talk about three because I want us to ask questions and then to make comment. Most of my good people, they are not in the studio tonight. I see all of you that you ran outside of the studio because we are talking about sex. All of you are the ones that is making this marriage industry wonky. God sees your logo and you see me as I'm speaking to you. So three ways in which sex can be harmful. Please, we're still going to talk about styles of sex and sex toys. I know people want to talk about, we are going to talk about the sex toy, but I'm taking us somewhere. So just bear with me. That's why I'm trying to rush it so we can have time. Within 30 minutes, I'll round up the background and then I'll open up to us going into different areas about this sex. So three ways in which sex can be so sinful. Sex, as good as it is, and as it is in the Bible, can be sinful in areas where, and you say, when you use sex to punish your spouse, you are committing a sin, because the Bible said, don't defraud each other sex. So once you avoid sex, once you don't satisfy your partner, like that woman that said, how can you, the man has, if the woman commits adultery, in all fairness, she has not, this, the man will be at the, he is the one that, both of them are sin. There's no excuse for sin. But what I'm trying to say, he actually pushed her out. I think he will, I'm not God. So when God wants to portion who's more at fault, is the man. It falls on the, because a woman that marries you has come under the understanding. If I say to people, I'm not married. If I'm married, I cannot imagine me being married and a man will sleep beside me. I won't have sex. I will blow your head one night. What's the meaning of that? Leave me alone. I'm good the way I am. So if you have come to seek my hand in marriage, why would I now be sleeping beside you every night? You tell me you are fasting today, you are fasting tomorrow, you are speaking in tongues. It's no fun. And even women, some women are bad at that. So when you use it to punish your spouse, is a sin. You know, in ways like if you upset him, maybe you have not given me money. We women were very wonderful with this. It's bad. I'm reading Pastor Tayo's comment before I go on. The biggest Pastor Tayo Achiba, calling from commenting from America, the biggest victims of sex starvation amongst women are mommy Jews. Thank you. So I'm still coming on that. Either their husband are too busy with ministry, too busy mending other people's home, or too busy playing holy. I think it's more of playing holy, sir. This category of women are suffering and they can't speak out because of the way society sees them. Yes. My wife is one mommy Geo that has too much of it. I know, Pastor. Well done. Thank you, sir. I admire your courage on this program. I wish you would talk about it sometime. Amen. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. And Pastor said you are making research. Thank you, sir. I know. First Lady is Pastor Tayo is somebody that, in fact, if you are not married, if you watch his platform, you start begging God, because I love he celebrates marriage, and I always give kudos to himself and his wife. They go to hotel, they have fun, they celebrate. You see, all these things we have here to enjoy. When we go up there, there's no husband, there's no wife. So celebrate and enjoy the wife of your youth. Enjoy yourself now. And I like what Pastor said there. Most of us Christians, especially we women, Mommy Geo, Deacon, the deaconesses, all titled women, we suffer a lot because our men are too busy with the spiritual. We are in church, you are mending other people's lives, you are not mending your home. And I agree with Pastor Tayo. Most of these women, they don't have the courage to speak up. Who are they going to talk to? Mommy pastor that is sitting on the altar is telling them, woman, consummate your marriage, make your husband happy. Mommy is crying at home because that is not even an opening address. Mommy is wearing everything to make daddy notice. That is fasting, that is in conference, that is in seminar, that is this. And by the time they get home, they are tired. So please, if you're of God there, listen and take care of your wife. When she cries to God, you're sinning. It's not good. So as I go on, we must not use sex to punish our spouse. We women, we are very good at that. We ask for money or anything and we say, you meet me there. You're committing a sin. Especially if he goes out. If you make him to stumble, you're in trouble. You do not have control over that body as many times. That's the reason why I say to singles, discuss sex. Let me tell you something. You're about to marry, you're single, waiting on the Lord, or getting ready. Three major things that you must discuss. Three major things: communication, sex, and finance. Those three things, if you don't deal with them before marriage, I'm telling you, if you're not careful, you're out of that marriage, because these are things that will be the bedrock of your home. So I tell people, I will ask you, I will spare you the first 1 week or 2 weeks to say, okay, let me watch you. By the third week, you cannot last. I will tell you, please, let's talk about sex. Because a man was speaking to me earlier on, was it today? I was talking, and the man is online, true. I was talking about something that happened to a sister, and she got married, and on the night of the marriage, she realized the man cannot do. I said, if it is me, because I will have discussed with you the second day I'll give you divorce, to be honest with you. Because that is deceit. So talk about it. It's not a sin. It's part of it. That's why it's one of the reasons why you are leaving your daddy and mommy to go and meet and join. You are living and cleaving with him, and both of you are becoming one. You are becoming, yes, you are becoming one flesh, and you have to abide together. So you have to ensure that you discuss about sex. It's very tonight. I'm not talking about any other thing, so I'm focusing on sex. So make sure that you don't use it to punish your spouse. Please, women, we do. Men does that as well, especially men that knows that their wife enjoys their love making to them. They use it as punishment. It shouldn't be used as punishment. Maybe you do not know you are committing a sin. I'll read that scripture again, 1 Corinthians 7:5. It says, do not deprive one another except perhaps by agreement for a limited time. Yes, we want to fast for 7 days, we want to fast for 3 days. And please, I'll use this to beg our GOs, if you are listening to me, stop giving married people 40 days, 70 days fasting. It's unrealistic. People debate it. So most of them don't have time. They don't know how to tell their pastors because everyone is trying to be holy and like that. But they come to my platform, they call me. They talk. I answer that question already 3 or 4 times in a year. Like people say, we are 30 days fasting, we are 40 days fasting, we are 21 days fasting. What's the big deal? What's your problem? Do 7 days. Give yourself another 7 days to relax. Do another. Must you do it as a stretch? God will still answer. These people are burning. They're finding it difficult to hold themselves, and you're making them not to comply because they want to be seen. Thank you, Mr. Brahma. Communication, sex, and finance. Yes. Oh, Mr. Brahma said you ran away from studio. You are one of those that ran away from studio. You are now speaking on Facebook now because you don't want to talk about sex. Okay. And we had the fourth thing, which is health, e.g., genotype. Oh, yes, the genotype like SSASAA. Yes, those are things, but I'm just saying things to talk deeply about because yeah, those are little things, marital history before and all those things. Disclosure, general disclosures should be made in all ramifications. But those three topics, make sure it's not something you brush. You have to go into it. You have to know what they. I don't want to talk about finance and everything. So let's go back to the context. So that scripture was saying, please let us not use sex to punish ourselves. So then the second point is we can selfishly demand sex, and this is where our men comes in. 3 areas are still on point. 3 areas where you can be sinning when you are that you can use sex, and which we can make sex very simple. When you are forcefully demanding sex, some men, their libido is very high. So when she's tired, you have to understand. I know she can't defraud, but if a woman sincerely says, baby or honey, I'm tired tonight, please pardon her. Don't say. Some men will say you should know how, and such women, please know how to make him release. Stop. If your man's thing is standing and he wants to make love to you and you cannot because you are tired, maybe you are, but your hand is not tired, you can massage him. You can do things for his body to calm down, and then he will sleep. You will sleep. But if you are not allowing him, the first day he's trying, second day he will go and take your house help, and you say it's not godly. Praise Mr. Brahma, you're making it. I'm busy. Just try to get in now through Facebook. Easier than I'm only joking. I'm only pulling your legs, sir. So what we're trying to say, Pastor Soji, bless you, sir. So what we're trying to say is, please don't use this as a weapon. And when a woman is tired, she's tired. I know we women, we overstretch things. The other day we were talking on this platform about women saying, I've got headache, I've got body pain. When they have headache, sometimes they do have headache. But when is headache today? Tomorrow headache, except she has some medical condition. But stop. I know men don't like stopping in the track, and that's why women. And you see, I say there should be talk before you go into. Louis, I can cite you. Thank you. You see, you should talk before you go. Make it discussion. Just like you say, baby, what are we eating tonight? We're eating rice. Talk about it. Tonight we're gonna have a nice time. Discuss it, so that she says, yeah, baby, I don't think you see my body hurts, my back hurts. You can say, okay, I'll give you a massage. Help her. So discuss it. Don't just jump on her on the bed and the woman is saying, I'm tired, I'm tired, I'm tired. But what we are trying to say is, when you selfishly demand sex, you're committing a sin. I'm going to read from Ephesians 5:25. I said Jesus talking love for his bride was utterly okay. I only paraphrased it there. It's talking about the Jesus was talking about his love for the bride. So as Christ washed the church with his blood, so we should wash our wife. We should be sympathetic. We should be careful with them. Let's be sensitive to their needs. So what we are trying to say, vice versa, don't be selfish. You know, and if I look into the Philippians 2:3-4, it says, "Let each of you look not unto his own interest, but also into the interest of others." So it's not about you, a man saying, "Oh, I have erection." He has to try and know what she's feeling, try and understand her. And when you are doing it, don't demand for it excessively. 3 nights, a man said to me, I have to go three rounds a night. I said, then you want to kill her. What if she doesn't have the somebody that is working in I won't dictate the pace for your home just in case somebody is out there listening to me and is a Jacko Jacko. So, but what I'm trying to say, just be sympathetic. Now, the third one is we can use sex to shame our spouse. Yes, I'll explain what I mean by this. I happen to know a woman, I think I've said it on this platform before. She was a work colleague some 10, 12 years ago, and the man actually called his wife, used to call her, "You dirty pussy woman." So it kills her moral, it kills her emotions. Don't use that. A man as well that I know will call because he has poor libido. He will call her a whore. He will call her prostitute. He will call her useless because he always says because he demands for a right. You are fasting in the morning. You are fasting in the evening. So he will go on a long. When I'm telling you things, I'm not making anything up. He will go on long fasting and everything. And when the woman is trying to romance, say, "Leave me alone. What's wrong with you? You are demonic. You devil." He says, "I'm things have been going back for him. Retrogression is not progression. It's this. You're demonic." Unknown to our uncle has erection problems, dysfunctional erection. So please, you see, it's name shaming coming your way, especially because you know their past. A woman comes to you and say, "Listen, I've dated 10 men before, I've dated 5 men before." Don't use it. Do not say, "Hey, that's how I saw you on the bed yesterday. See, you are changing, you using different style." Prostitute. She was doing it to satisfy you. When you were doing it, you enjoyed it. In the morning, you are calling her names. Same thing. Women don't say, "Oh, that's why you were loose. That's why you were sleeping around before." No, it becomes a sin because you're punishing them. So those are the ways we can use sex to shame our spouses. Can you imagine? I sleep with my husband and the morning you call me a whore, a prostitute. I'll feel bad. And even if I'm enjoying it, then I'll be frigid. My mind will go blank because women were emotional, will recline back to herself. So peradventure, you should revisit the reason why your woman is closing up. Maybe some of us, you know, maybe some of us we are holding back unnecessarily. All right, Facebook, Mr. Emmanuel Brahma said, "Wow, 3 times a day is jobless." Beg your pardon, what do you mean jobless? It's during the night, should money now. Don't let me come on your own case. So what do you mean jobless? Don't mind them. Oh. A man that can do 3, as long as the woman is okay, that's their own problem. But maybe they start at 7 p.m., they go to bed early. Before 7 a.m., now they will have done. Right? God help us. Right? So, Mommy Falashade Ogode, you said too much of everything is bad. Yeah, I think once per night is okay. I wouldn't. But the younger ones, anyways. But let me not talk for everybody. People, you see people in their 60s having high libido. You never know what's going on in people's life. The most important thing that we're talking about here is as long as both of you are able to take it. If you look at that, because I like to support everything. Ephesians 4:29 says, "Let no corrupting talk come out of your mouth, but only such as is good for building up, as it fits the occasion, that it may give grace to the one who hears." So please don't use your spouse's past to talk dirty on them or demean them. Sex is their right. Don't let your wife crave and start begging for sex. You are less of a man if your wife is craving or begging for sex. Give it to her as occasion demands. I know no woman will want it morning, afternoon, evening, night. But some women want it every night. Probably that's what they used to. Some of you even start, you put them on pedestal, and then you remove this thing. It's not good. I'm reading another comment from Pastor Tayo. Sorry, it says, "Don't mind them who tells those women what is ungodly is sex. They can help their men achieve erection if the man has some erectile issues. In any way, as long as sex is undertaken as long as sex is undertaken within the context of legislative marriage, any act jointly agreed is permissible." Thank you, sir. I've had things about people talking about oral sex. To be honest with you, what a man does, I continue to say that. You may differ or dissent on what a man does in the context of his room with his wife, as long as they are not forced into it or coerced into it, is sex, is sexual relationship between them. They are one. Whatever they do, the only thing is it becomes an issue if one does not agree to the act, and then you are forcing it on her. And like Pastor said, that's a past. Let me tell you something. We are pastors, but we are flesh and blood. If you see his wife, she glows. She glows. You can see that she's happy. When I'm sure, Pastor, before you kneel down to pray, God answer, because when you agree, when a woman supports you in prayer, the heavens is open. One will chase 1,000, two will chase 10,000. When a woman is happy, she's free. She prays on your behalf. Wherever she goes, she'll be praying and interceding for the husband because she doesn't want to lose the man. But when a woman is so grumpy, it's not good. Likewise, the man as well. A woman, you are your man's favor. So don't become disfavor unto him. He found favor when he found you. Make everything. Pastor just said it. You can help him if he's having dysfunctional erection, which could be through the mind, which could be anxiety, which could be through tiredness. Help him to massage his penis. Help him to massage it. Did do anything that way. He's your man, he's your husband. And you find out that people that complain, you lose the man and you see the man doing well. So let's go to the second part of it, which is the sex toy. I'm going to talk about the sex toy in two dimensions. In two dimensions tonight. Because when I talked about the topic sex and sex toys, the first thing that came to my mind are those ladies that use sex toys. And I'm going to ask us this question: is it justified? Is it because sometimes when I do matchmaking, my godly spouse, and sometimes on Facebook, at the moment I have ladies on my hand, over 10, professional, single, begging me that, "Pastor, please, a God-fearing man." And I can see these men, they don't want to be serious. And the ones that comes, they know that I will vet them. So they always run. So this woman, one told me that she's using sex toy. And like I said, two dimensions I'm talking about. The first one is married women, legitimate use of toys. Now, a woman told me that her husband, so those are the areas that we're going on the sex toy, and I'm going to leave it to us to comment and decide. To be honest with you, it got to a stage I didn't know what to say again regarding this sex toys issue. They call it, I wrote it down, dildo. They call it dildo. Maybe you have, but I think that's a common parlance, dildo. Now, what we're trying to say now is there are married women that legitimately their husband uses sex toys for them. One is guilty at the moment, is the man is guilty at the moment, and he wants to know, should he continue using sex toy for his wife? The woman has a high sexual drive. So the man said after his release, otherwise called after his come, or they could say when you reach orgasm, after he reaches that peak, the woman is still high up there. So the man already tired, the man is gone down, the woman is still high up. And the man wants to satisfy his wife. And he realized if he continue, the man said maybe he doesn't want to die because he's high and he loves her. A lot of people have mishandled this situation and they ran. I remember a story about a man that had that after he slept with a girl, he ran for his life that he forgot to take his shirt. Because they said the woman has high sex drive, that after I finish the first one, the second one, the woman still continue. I don't know. That's her drive. She doesn't reach satisfaction. It could be a previous relationship. It's what taught her. Like I said, nobody brings making love or having sex from heaven. It is because of the experience. That's why newcomers are always kind of naive or messy about it. They don't know their way. But when you have these pros teaching them, so this woman is possible that because of the previous relationship she had. But the most important thing is this is a legitimate wife, legally married, and the husband is using toy. When I had, it was a 50-50. I didn't know what to say. It was the man that spoke, and he said he bought her sex toy, and she's enjoying. And so now they are enjoying their marriage because of this sex toy. He does his normal thing. They do all their foreplay. He brings her up. He does his own thing. But after he's released, he continues with sex toy because he said his libido does not catch up with our own strengths. So that's the first aspect of it. The second one is there's some women sex drive is high and the husband is not satisfied. Okay, that's it. The man using it on his wife. That's the first one I said. So the second one, there are three ones. Okay, it's married women that are living single, despite being married. I told you of a case of a woman that called me after her son, a 3-year-old son, and said to me, she bought it. She bought a sex toy. Yeah, I'm coming to that, Evangelist Olufemilayo Teresa Daniel. Definitely, sex toy is wrong if you're single. I'm still coming to the single. There's a third point on my list. The first one are those that are legally married, that the man wants to satisfy his wife and he's got it for her. The second one is a married woman that doesn't want to commit adultery. As such, she has gone to buy herself a toy. So I'm reading from Facebook, Pastor Tayo Ajibade, bless you, sir. If the sex toy is agreeable to the woman and it will help keep the woman from frolicking with other men, it's okay. The ruling words are jointly agreed. Thank you, sir. Because that was what I felt. That was what I felt. Because it's an agreement. Remember, two of you are one. Genesis 2:24. You have become one. You have become one. So you need to satisfy each other's sex drive. Otherwise, you're going to lose your marriage. People in the studio ran out to go and join Facebook because they don't want to comment. God sees all of your logo. You're free. So thank you very much, man of God. So for the married, if the woman wants, if her sex drive is high, let us stop being spiritually spiritual. And I don't even know the word to say it. And we're deceiving ourselves. You have saying if you drive her out, if she has a sex drive, it's just like if your own. You see, men, we are funny. If you're the one that wants to go first ride and second round, and the woman is not allowing you, it's acceptable to you. But if it's the man, if it's the woman that has a sex drive and she's not reaching climax or whatever they call it, then you start calling her cheap and you leave her to groan there. If you don't do your job, somebody else will do it for you. So you have to ensure. When the man told me, I just said, oh, as same thing like what Pastor Ajibade said. The only thing I just said is just make sure that I don't know. I just told him, I said, I don't understand. Because that's the first time I will see a man admitting to it that he bought it for his wife himself. So are we going to say he's committing sin? He's not committing sin with his wife. They both agreed and they are playing their love life. So the second one, I'm going to read, okay, Evangelist Olufemilayo Teresa Daniel said, if they both agree to it and they are happy in a marriage, I believe it's okay. Thank you. I'm happy I see realistic people on this platform tonight. In all fairness, Apostle Olufemilayo said, if Apostle Paul is here today, he will advise the same. Yeah, thank you. And Louis Moses, I'll tell them. It's if he wants it, your body is his body. He has every right to play with your body. He has every right to do everything to do. So be free, women. And please, men, please help share this to people's inside their messenger, obviously. To them on messenger, so that people will be liberated. Men, stop calling them cheap. Help them. And women, stop calling him a horse. Help him. That is him. You're blaming or name blaming him or doing anything is not going to change that. It's not going to remove the libido. It's not going to remove the emotions. You just leave her longing, and then she gets to work, and one man is saying, "Oh, darling, your hair is so nice," and she's blushing. And before you know it, the man will satisfy her, or she gets a toy boy. So that those are, for that level. I think we reached an agreement, and I love that. Those are things that was happening in the Corinthian churches, and in the Corinthian church, and all those that Apostle Paul talked about it. You see, these are realistic things. We're in a very different world now. When the world started, obviously, sex, most 99.9 people that got married had not tasted sex outside marriage. So it's easy for you to adapt to it, because the man that disvalues you, you go by the passion. Both of you are learning, and you'll be satisfied. But a man that has always gone a marathon, or a woman that's already gone a marathon, give her 100 meters, she will not be satisfied. And that's the problem we have now. And if we have to marry her, if she's 90% in other areas and it's just 5% that she cannot satisfy you, please ensure you make them satisfied. The second aspect is the women, single, some married women that are living single. Is it okay for them to do it on themselves? I know that's what is called masturbation. Is it okay? They are married. I'm not talking about single. I'm coming back to the single. Example is the woman that's married and the man is not touching her and she's craving bad for sex. She said to me, is either I go out and do it or I use a sex toy. But when I start asking her, okay, how does the sex toy work? How does this? How does that? Then she chickened out of it. So those are the three. That's the second one. What's our advice for these women? They're married in a legitimate relationship, married husband and wife, but the man is not touching them. So maybe one of the days that he's gone out, and or maybe in the night, maybe beside him or beside, I don't know. But the woman said this particular one, the man will leave the house for 2, 3, and actually she blocked his phone. She realized he was cheating on her. So she got to a state that mentally, is it that she goes out, she's got urges to the extent that is it that she goes out or she does things to herself. And I'm like, this is a married woman, her husband is not doing it. So she wants to take it upon herself that instead of committing adultery, I'll be ready. Another one is somebody that the husband had diabetes and it's been long in his body and is affected his erection and is unable. And I think it's about 8 or 9 years. And she said, I do it for myself. At least I'm holding my marriage. I'm faithful to my man. So the only person she's not faithful to is the dildo. So, but at the end of the day, she's not committed adultery. So, you see, that's a very, very difficult one. Pastor, please help me. I don't understand on that aspect. Okay, Evangelist Daniel said they both need spiritual counseling. Thank you. Because the woman is the man that needs spiritual counseling. In all fairness, she doesn't need any spiritual counseling. She doesn't need any spiritual counseling. I just differed on that a bit, sir. She does not need any, okay, ma. She doesn't need any spiritual counseling because it's the one that's failing to do his duty. You've been making love to her. She has urges. She's tried everything, and so now she's craving for it, and she's getting something to make herself calm down. On our case, like you said, there are some things that when they bring to you for counseling, you just start scratching your head. You don't know what to say. In all fairness, I just said, please don't use it. And she was just thinking, look at this. Here she comes again. Here they come again. She's one of them. I'm not one of them. I'm being realistic. I'm just thinking of the act. So I was saying, how would you enjoy? She said, I'm going to use some film. What's it called? Or is it porno or whatever they call it? I'm going to play one of those films to get myself a roast, and I'm going to use it. So those are things. That the third one are the singles. I have issues with that. Singles, I have issues, but at the same time, like I always say, I empathize with them. When I started this program, I explained the set of, the difference between singles and mature singles. Singles are children that's never tasted sex or adults that have never tasted sex. You're easy to control yourself. But for mature single, if you don't tame your mind with the power of the Holy Spirit and get yourself engaged, you know, get your mind so engaged, it's difficult for them. They are burning. And most of them, what they are saying now, in order not to commit to start fornicating, they will rather do that. A woman, um, about 2 years ago now, was introduced to me for counseling. I used to counsel her, and this woman, you know, she has strong urge. And I kept saying to her, "Is this sexual?" Or she went, "No." It was after she messed up. She told me she jumped at the man. So it was after she made the mistake and she's had a child. She came back to me to tell me that apparently those times she was using sex toy, and she got fed up. She cried to the Holy Spirit to help her. So at the sight of a real man that proposed to her, and when she was introduced to me, when the man proposed to her, I kept saying to her, "Let's pray." And I've not seen her, and I don't know that man, but I was trying. And at the end of the day, she jumped to the man. She got pregnant, and she's out of that marriage after 3 months. So I'm going to read comment. True, get yourself engaged. You need to get your mind engaged. Mr. Brahma said, just a poser, not being judgmental, but to discuss. Is using sex toy not sinful? Introducing external thing. It all depends, sir, on the way you look at it. If you're using sex toys in the context of your marriage, if you use your hand, I'm going to be a bit raw about it. I'm so sorry, but you have a question and I answer you. If you use your fingers to, they call it fingering, or to, whatever you call it, you use your hands to massage or play around your wife's vagina. Is that a sin? It's not external, it's your hand. So if you use it, but I would say objects can be dangerous. I will not personally, I will not allow anybody to use sex toys on me, and I will not use sex toys. But one man's meat is another's poison. I've come to a stage that, like you said, we are not being judgmental here. That's why we're on this platform. We're just exploring things. Instagram is going to go down in a minute. It doesn't last longer than an hour. Please join us on Facebook. Look for Dolapo Aguro Adeniyi. Dolapo Aguro Adeniyi. Thank you very much, everyone on Instagram. I see you. Thank you. God bless you. So I'm reading another comment, which is from okay, Pastor Tayo said, difference between singles and mature singles. Yes, I said I like that. True. For the single women that's never tasted it, is easy for them to contain. And that's why Apostle Paul was telling them that, when you're single, all you do is focus on God, you use your energy. He was talking that he himself was not married, and it's easy for him. And he was saying that it's difficult, it's trouble for those that marry. Once you are married, it's difficult, because the most important thing on your plate once you are married is serve God, please your husband, please your wife. They are supposed to meet each other's needs. So for the mature single now, I have a major issue in my hand. I speak to these women, they are finding it difficult to hold their emotions, and most of them are Christian. I know about 3 or 4 in my hand that would have called me, that are struggling with their emotions and they are using sex toys. And I've said something, I could not judge them. I just plead with them. I use the scripture and I tell them how to engage. Melody Fabric, thank you, sister. Good evening, Reverend. Your anointing will not render. Amen. Amen. In Jesus' name. Bless you, my God. That's my big sister. So what we're trying to say here is, how do we cope? How do we handle this set of people? For me, I'll use myself as an example. At least I've been single and I've been a widow for 4 years. One, what you give your mind to, I'll talk about that, has a lot to do. Focus on God. I know you say it sounds easy. I've told people on a one-to-one, they just do like this. Focus and throw yourself to work. I'm a workaholic. I tell you, this point, I broke my fast. I ate and I ran to get ready for this. My typical day stops at 11. My boys always tell me, "Mommy, unwind." Sometimes they take my laptop, take everything, because if I make a mistake of taking my laptop to my room and beside my bed have books, I engage my mind. I'm engaged. That's the only people ask me, and I'll use that advice for the singles. For singles, no matter whether you are mature single, I'm a mature single, so I can use myself to tell you I've been married. I was married for 13 years, enjoying sex every if it's not every night, every other night, at least 3 or 4 nights in a week. So you can imagine the drastic change after I lost my husband. The first week, so you don't have an excuse, any single. I'm telling you, it's how you adapt your mind. This thing is the brain. You remember Jesus was saying, if a man looks at a woman lustfully, you start from here. You've committed it from here. Engage here. Engage your brain. But occasionally it gets hard. I will be very, very plain. It was last year. I went on holiday with my boys to, is it Bulgaria? Yeah. And I wanted massage. So I booked into my hotel was massage something spa. It was spa. It was beautiful. And it has spa. I was so exhausted when I went in October. Immediately I got in, the first 3 days we were just eating breakfast and everything, dinner in the room. I was exhausted. I'd walked my head out. I finished a conference, I did everything. So by the time I now got better, I started using the spa. Honestly, the sight of men and women there and everything just brushed in back my mind, my years of marriage and the passion I had in my marriage. To be honest with you, those 4 or 5 nights before I left that hotel, I struggled. And it was, my boys were there, my room, I will be there. And that's why you have accountability partners, people that respect. I have men of God surrounding me that I open up to. And there's a particular one, the father is a brother. I called him. Unfortunately, that day he was busy on some case. I called him. I said, Pastor, I said, okay, Dolapo, calm down. What is, and I told him the trigger. So anything can trigger it. Mine didn't go triggered until after 3 years. But immediately after that holiday, I plunged myself back into work. It's a tactic I use. Otherwise, you'll be messed up. You'll be messed up. So I know people tell me I'm struggling. You watch pornography, you watch romance. My sister is out there. When they watch movie, when she asks me, there's this movie, I always say, is there romance in it? I guide myself, I guide my heart, I guide my vicinity. Anybody can fall. No matter the anointing, because you're a mature woman. You have you are exposed to it already. Nobody, everything I'm telling you, I didn't read it in story. I've experienced it. I've been married, I enjoyed sex. I've enjoyed sex. So can you imagine when you are lonely? You go out, you see your friends, lovey, they are calling themselves name. You get home. If you're not focused and engaged, your mind starts saying, and you're laying there on the bed. You are watching news and boom. I'm not a TV person. I have TV in my room. By the time I get to my room, I just put some music to calm me down to sleep. Because I'm knackered by the time I get to my bed. So get yourself engaged. Go for walk, go for things. For some of you that like being active, but don't just sit down there and be watching romance that you say, I love you. Before you know it, it brings your mind back to what you are missing. I'm going to read a comment from Evangelist Daniels. I've been single for 8 years. Wow. I never use any toy. I don't know what it looks like. I've not seen it. I've heard about it myself. I'm on the run for evangelism, fasting, and prayer. Today, I had 3 hours prayer. I know I'm getting married soon. Amen. God is faithful, man. God will continue to be faithful to you, man. In Jesus' name. It is possible. Teresa is a woman, though you are using a DP of a man. It's possible. Pray in the Holy Ghost. Yes, always, man. I'm going to read your comment again. That's still Evangelist Daniels. While I sleep, I play Bishop Oyedepo's messages on Kenneth Hagin's messages. I stand to make positive declaration and anoint my body with anointing oil. Did you hear that? You see, those are tactics. For me, when I get to my bed, I have books. Some days when I watch Facebook or whatever, just to unwind, catch up with the day. And usually I'll just put it to a gospel channel or something that have been forced in the last 1 week, giving me I was speaking to my sister 3 days ago. She gave me a movie to go and watch. Yesterday, she called me 2 days ago. She called me, she said, have you watched it? I did like this. She said, we have not seen somebody to give. And even my son called me and said, Mom, are you ready for it? I pleaded that we are watching it today. So what I'm trying to say is it's good to have all this social time, but for me, the reason why I've not watched that particular movie, it's because I've been busy, not because so I'm naturally not a TV person. When I have company, I watch it, so that helped me so much. But I like good movie, but avoid the ones that will make you. I'm not saying don't watch movie, don't do this. Avoid the ones that will make you start thinking, before you know it, sex toy will be the option. Okay, Pastor Tayo. Someone says sex toy is introducing external thing. Mr. Brimo, reply to your question. When we get dentures at the dentist office, artificial teeth, is that sinful? Thank you, sir. Because it's also introducing external thing. External thing. When we get kidney transplant, external thing, is it sinful? The question of sex toy for legitimately married people is it jointly agreed between the two of them? Will you restore sanity and engender peace? Thank you very much, sir. Regarding the married people, let's stop enslaving ourselves. So, and I totally agree with you, sir, because to me, you see, some pastors, if you are not out there and you see people, what people are going through, sometimes it's easy for us to say, especially if we have let's go for Pastor Tayo. He has a loving wife and they had a good romance. But at the same time, I think if you have a good romance with your wife, you will know that some people are struggling. For those that are struggling, it's better for them when they're married. If he agrees, if the woman agrees or the woman goes to buy it, it's just like a woman that usually gets tight. Maybe has a tight vagina. You know, you're saying she shouldn't use lubricant. She should use lubricant. So you can introduce it yourself. Talk to your spouse. I know a man that told me that when I get on the bed, I remember, no, I remember when I first had it, and I told my husband and I laughed. We laughed it off. A man said when he goes to his room, he carries what's it called? Ice cream with him to his room. And then I was like, what do you do with ice cream? He said, I'll pour it on my body and my wife will lick it. Wow. I laughed. May the soul of my husband rest in peace. One day I got to the room. I saw a bowl of ice cream, a cup of ice cream on the window. I thought he was licking ice cream. And I said, okay, now I'm pouring on my body. Start licking. I said, you're getting mad. He said, come on, come on. I did. I licked it off his body. That's what he wanted. That's what he wanted. So that's his passion. That's what he wanted. If you don't lick it on his body, somebody else will lick it on his body. It's good to experiment with things as long. Sometimes I'm like, as long as it's within the confine of your home. So thank you, men of God. You see, it is very, very important for us to satisfy ourselves. Let's not deceive ourselves. When you are married, you have to satisfy your husband. When you are married, you have to satisfy your wife. We talked about it. We won't do it too much so that, we have to be sensitive to each other. You won't make him fall or, if you notice your woman is tight, a woman are tight, there, don't start forcing yourself on her. Is it that her mind is not relaxed? Is it that you have not done enough foreplay? But some men, they'll still do enough foreplay. After a while, the woman will get dry, get lubricants. And I hear the women, as they are getting older, in their 50s, I'm not in 50 years. So I know. So I can't advise much on that. But from some women that have spoken to me in that regard, in their 50s, they said to me that they get tight along the line. It could be their emotions, it could be, is it menopause they call it? But what we're trying to say is, once they fall within that capacity, go to Sainsbury, go to Tesco for those of us abroad. They are the shelf. They are lubricants. Save once. Don't use their Vaseline. Just go and get proper lubricant. Some people will say Vaseline. Some people will say they are using their saliva with saliva. Don't give her infection. Go and buy lubricant. These things are safe. Just pim. The man will put it on his own thing, and then he is it right. It will not disturb her. You find out that your woman will want more of you. Maybe the reason why she's preventing you, you're just rubbing into her. And she has a woman told me that she had blisters and her husband was still forcing her. It's a sin. When a woman said, can you look at me? I've got blisters. Check it. It's your thing. Check. There's nothing wrong with your eyes. Your eyes, look at it and say, okay, leave her to heal. But if indeed She's then fine. If she has blisters, that means she is dry. Then get lubricant. It could be her emotion. So work on that. Please help her to soften, help her to get the best out of you. And then before I'm going to just end up on the ladies' own, then we'll talk about styles, and then I'm going to end for the night. Ama Shamaiko, God bless you, ma. Somebody once said honey is good too in the bedroom. Oh, honey to pour on your body or to use it down below. Don't use honey down below because it can affect, I don't know, but honey is good. If you want to pour it on your body and lick it, pour it on him, lick it, pour it on her, lick it, just have fun. Just have fun with each other. Thank you, ma. Maybe when I'm married, I'll put your manual in place. And for those married, can you hear? They say honey. Honey is good. I've heard about ice cream before. I've not heard about honey because the ice cream thing, we think they kind of make them what's it called? I'm trying to look for the word. I'll remember the word now. So it will just because it chews them and it will make them sensitive, and there's a particular word that is hiding and it will come. So most important thing, what we are trying to say is enjoy that. For the singles, before we go to types, please, the singles, you don't have any excuse. Young singles, as in those below 30 that you've not been married before, please abstain. Let me tell you something. When we are talking of abstinence, it's because of your own good. I know people say we don't listen until we make mistake. You will not make mistake in Jesus' name. It's your dignity that a man is taking away. Some of us made those mistakes before we got married, and that's what we're expecting. We're explaining to you not to make that mistake. It's your dignity. No matter what, when you see that man or you hear about him, you feel bad. There's one part of you that feels that this man has gone with something. So, and that's why the Bible is talking that marriage is honorable. Honor when the bed is undefiled. That is, on their wedding night, stay intact. You have honor. You'll be able to look at his face. He will not look at you tomorrow and say, you cheap thing. And if you are saying that you are ungodly, there's nothing wrong with you. Even if if both of you did it, didn't you? You did it. So you now married that. You're not saying that's why did I sleep with you before marriage? Did he not sleep with you? It takes two. If you sleep with her, if she sleep with you, she slept with you too. Both of you. So nobody should start gloating and say, if you slept with her, she slept with you. It's gone in those days that a man will be thinking, but for singles, please, so that you are not in that difficult situation, hold your dignity. You're preserved. You're pure. You'll be able to hold each other together. Yeah, mommy Ogunde, you see, your temple is the body is the temple of God. All our body, whether it's married and single or whatever. So hold yourself pure, preserve yourself, preserve your dignity, preserve your pride. And then you have course, even before God and man, God will fellowship with you more. But for the mature, so for those single, fresh single, I call them fresh single. When I do matchmaking, I don't even consider them because they will mess your work. They'll be telling you, hey, Pastor, I'm not ready. They'll be saying they're not ready now. By the time they're 30, 32, their mothers will start going on the mountain for them. And they'll start, that's true. I always tell them as early as my by the grace of God, I have niece. By the time she's 18, I start tutoring her. By the time she's 25, you're married. Do your first degree, second degree, marry. I don't want them to bash you right and there. So the lesson that we ought to give them at 18, we are giving them at 30 and we are praying on the mountain. No. So for those things, I don't even waste time with them because they sit there and I remember there was time I was doing singles and all of those singles, 18, 20, they said, no, they stopped coming, they were not coming. I said, very soon you will know the importance of what we are saying. But don't fall among that. Peradventure you're out there, you're listening, you're single. Don't fall among those that's going to make you mistake before you learn. Listen to this, keep yourself. But as soon as there's nothing a woman is doing after 25. When you see potential man, just go. Because this one will, but for those that are still waiting and you've not found the right person, it's good to wait. Wait on the Lord. It's necessary, it renews your strength. Now, for those of us that we've tasted Mr. Thomas before, I'm coming to us in a minute. The young singles, Pastor Ajibade, the young singles should wait for their time. This is something they will do anyway for the rest of their life. That is just it. Wait for your time. Wait for the right man. that will appreciate you, that will love you, that will discover you, that you will grow with, and both of you will enjoy yourself. It will be good. You will be so passionate on that day. You'll be so happy to learn it afresh. Both of you will learn it, and it's like you're evolving. It will be good for you. And then for those of us, I'll use us that are single, mature single, we discussed it before. Try, and if you are using this sex store, it is a sin. For any single, it is a sin because you're not married. You're not supposed to be enjoying sex. I know you have urge. I know things are difficult now, but focus your mind. Get busy. Engage your mind. I'm telling you, try it. Exhaust yourself day one, exhaust yourself day two. I'm telling you, you won't even think of. Sometimes when I'm speaking to my sister and she's talking to me, I said, see, the way I am, if a man even is on my bed, I'll just give him a shiko on his head to say, move on the bed. Honestly, because I'm tired. By the time I crawl to my bed, some days when I finish downstairs, I'm like, my boy, bring me tea upstairs. I'm like crawling and shivering and just getting on my bed to be able to catch 7 or 8 hours or sometimes 6 hours sleep, sound sleep. So it shows that your mind, the Holy Spirit does work. Yeah, focus on the word. But if you focus on the word and you don't engage the mind physically as well, because you have too much time. The reason is we have too much time. When you have time, you remember the things you're missing. But when you engage yourself positively, not mean you should not have a life. Have a life, but try and engage your mind. But for those, so for them, they are the only ones, the singles, especially the mature single. I know you're struggling. I know some because it's not easy. Don't listen to people doing over righteous or spiritual. You see, those people I don't deal with them. I don't deal with people that are fake. If a mature woman comes to me, people call me and say, Pastor D, there was a time a woman called me and said to me, Pastor D, I want to have sex. I remember it was some years ago. She's a mature woman and her husband left her for a while. And I looked up and down, there was nothing I could do. She just said to me, said, Pastor D, I said, yes. He said, I want to talk to you. I said, okay. And then, fortunately, I didn't know what she wanted to say. So I said, okay, because I had a secretary then next door. She could be hearing what we were saying. So I said, okay, let's go into the church office. That was when I was in Dagenham. I will go to the church office. She said, you see, what I want to tell you, I don't want to talk to you as if I'm talking to Pastor D. So I want to talk to you as I remember as Sister Dolapo, that you are my sister. First thing, when somebody first remove your official title, say, I'm not dealing with you as a pastor. I'm dealing with your humanity. I'm dealing with you. You are a woman and you have emotions. And then my husband was still around. So I said, okay. So I started in my mind. I was when they removed my title, then I started praying. I told you, Spirit, help me today because I know what is coming, but I wasn't expecting what is coming. And the next thing she said is, I want to have sex. She said it in Yoruba, but I will not use that word here. I just quoted. She said, I looked up and I said, Holy Spirit, help me. You fail as a pastor to tell that you are a sinner. You will lose her completely. To the glory of God, that woman did not eventually do it. The Lord took control. At first, I didn't know where I had it. It was the Holy Spirit because we prayed before. I just said, you know what? You are right. It's okay. It's okay to have that feeling. It was after we said it, I started asking her question, who is this man? She doesn't have anybody in particular, but she doesn't care anybody that comes along now. She wants it. And the Holy Spirit led me to talk into deep things about her, because she was a single mother, about her children, about this and that. By the time we finished, this woman was well. She cried. We held hands. I prayed for her, and she did not do it. She did not do it. So let's stop being over religious, especially some of us that were out there, that were counselor. Please don't destroy people's life. If they come to you, you don't have what to say, just tell them, you know what, I don't have any leading to minister to you. Lead them to a believer. Don't kill them by telling them they are sinful. It's not sin to have passion or emotions. It's not sin. It is when you do it that is a sin. It's not sin that you feel like somebody should kiss you or to romance you. It's not demonic. Especially if you've been married before and you're lying there lonely in the bed and they said it's Valentine's Day and you open Facebook and this one is saying, look at my husband, he's taking me to Chicago. Look at this one. And your best friend is showing you, oh, he just engaged me. We went to the beach. We went to the Bahamas. No. The first thing that will come to your mind is, so a pastor, a woman in authority, we should know to deal with these sensitive people in our midst, in our community. They are mature women. They've enjoyed sex as much as you do. So they know what it is. They know the taste. So it is helping them. But please, if you're out there, I plead with you. Don't use sex toys. Don't use sex toys. It's going to damage you. It's gonna make you crave and crave and crave for more. And then you start watching pornography, and then after that, the sex toy will not be enough. Then you progress to the next available man on the street, and before you know, you mess yourself up. So channel your energy on something, focus your mind on something, be strong in the Lord, get occupied with the scripture, read the scripture, study the word, read books, do things. Thank you, Pastor Tayo. Yeah, I agree, sir. He said, correct. Temptation is not really sin. It is falling into it that brings sin. Temptation is not sin. It is when you now fall into that temptation that is a sin. So it's easy. That's why the Bible says, flee from all appearances. When it's appearing to you like this, flee. You know yourself. You know that you're feeling like. That lady that was saying on this note before I round up, that lady I was advising and I was saying to her, and she was so desperate to marry 2 years ago. And I said, something just told me, I said, is it that you're missing sex? It was me on the phone. He said, no, Pastor. Then she was still shy with me. I said, if it is sex, let's talk about it. We'll talk about it. She said, no, it's not sex. Is this man, he loves me, I love him. In fact, he's done it for me. I said, this man that do is a gigolo. This man will just use you. Gigolo are those men. They just use you. She said no. And she went on before I had it again. She was gone. She didn't call me back until when it was like 9 months or 10 months, like 2 months before her delivery. She called me. She was crying. I said, what? And she told me, I know I'm a disappointment. I don't want to. That the man left after 3 months and she's pregnant. I sat where I was. She wasn't with me. It was on the phone, and I cried. I've not seen her. I don't know whether she's black or white, but she was somebody I brought up. I said, why would you do this to your life? Why would you do this? She started crying. And it was then she confessed to me that period she didn't know how to tell me she was using sex toys already. So it doesn't satisfy. When you're not married, it doesn't satisfy. You crave more. So don't go into it. And if you have gone into it, please stop. For the sake of God, I plead with you. I empathize with you. I'm not judging you. I know what it feels when you're a lonely and single woman. Please, for the sake of Christ, for your dignity, for your future, don't use it. Don't play with yourself. The urge might come for you to start doing rubbish with yourself. Don't touch yourself. Focus on the scripture. Focus. If you don't know everybody, call me. I won't judge you. I'll talk you through tips that you take your mind off it. It's practical. It's natural for you to have emotions. It's natural for you to want somebody to hold you, to kiss you, to cuddle you, to do all those things. Sometimes you wake up. I woke up. There was a particular day I woke up. I forgot it. I was so tired. I woke up in the morning and I actually needed a hug, a pat, or somebody to just hold me. It's natural. But I quickly snapped out of it. It's not a sin for you to feel like that. It's natural because you were once married. You were once used to waking up with a cup of tea and a peck and a kiss and you snug and all those things. So occasionally those feelings will come. So I plead with us. That's all I have to say about sex toy. And for you women that you're single, don't toy yourself. On the other side, don't toy yourself into a sex toy. Don't let men use you as toy. Some of you singles, men are using you as toy. Don't let people be using you as toy, using you and dumping you and touching you and ching you your body. Please, if you're used to, stop tonight. I plead with you in the name of God. Sex is good when you are happy. Sex is good when you are married. Look for Pastor Tayo Ajibade. Look for if you listen to this video, look for Pastor Tayo Ajibade. He's a good role model. He's a good mentor. He's married. They are happily married. These are people that are married. If you have things, they will talk to you about it. I'm there. I can talk to you about it. If you're single, especially. For the married one, if you're having problem with passion or how to engage or spice your marriage, he has a lot of tips. He shows practical areas. Sometimes when I look at him, I'm like, this man, you're lucky that my husband is not alive. Because tips, I see things. And I'm somebody that I love, that I do anything for my marriage. I love good home. And I won't deceive myself because I want the best for myself, for my home. So make sure you have good sex. Make your husband happy. Make your wife happy. Men, make her happy. If she's not, if she wants you to use toy on her, that's as long as both of you agree, we've agreed tonight, it's not a sin. Use it for her, satisfy her craving, satisfy her urge. It's better than you just say, useless woman, prostitute. Okay. And then she'll go and commit adultery, which betters. And you, at the end of the day, you'll be an adulterer as well. So let us please, in the name of God. I think I've covered it. We are not able to talk about different styles. One day we'll talk about it. I'm doing my research. I may not be the best. Don't worry, I'll reserve that to when I'm married. So that you say this is this. What kind of pastor is this one? Very, very soon. Don't worry, don't worry. A lot of people that are waiting, don't worry. Continue to wait. God is going to do it. It's nearing the time, not yet time. It's nearing. I'm on a walk with the Lord. Don't worry. I know the time when it comes. So, but what we are trying to say is keep yourself safe. If you are walking in the vineyard of God, I think God should have given you the direction over your life. For me, people ask me, why are you not married? I'm working with the Lord. I have a direction I'm following. At the time, I know it's going to be, I know the time, don't worry. But for you, hold yourself. Peradventure, you should speak to the Lord and find out why the delay. Why are you not married? What is going on? And don't deceive yourself. For some of you that are deceiving yourself, you're sleeping and banging yourself about and you're doing holier than thou. Judgment day mustn't catch you like that. You have to present yourself as holy and righteous before the Lord. So that's all I have to tell us tonight on sex and sex toy. Don't turn yourself into a sex toy. Men, don't stop being gigolo. All of you are over Facebook. God is seeing your logo. You'll be pimping those women. You stop being used. It's a sin when you are not married. Stop being a gigolo and you stop make yourself a sex toy that this and that is touching and doing everything. The Lord will have mercy upon us. So I think I have to sign up. Before I go, Pastor Tayo, I'm extremely grateful to you, man of God. The Lord bless you. The Lord enrich you and your home. My love and regards to First Lady. By the grace of God, one day, we will see. In fact, anytime I come to America, I'll look for you guys. I have to come and see you. You are an inspiration to the marriage industry. Thank you very much. There are few men of God online. There was Evangelist Daniels that has been commenting. Thank you. Every other person. Pastor Israel and Jai and Mommy Ajayi, the Lord bless you. Okay, thank you very much, Pastor Tayo Ajibade. I really appreciate. Amma, Shamaiko, and everyone. Thank you. It's been awesome tonight. It's been wonderful. All of you that ran away from the studio, we will not talk about sex next week. Let me see you back here. They all ran away from the studio. They say, who's going to talk about sex? So that they would think he or she is bad. That's the word we have. And because somebody is talking about sex doesn't mean they are bad. You find that they are the most humble people, but they're just free. Some of us has to do the business. Some of us has to stand in the gap. Some of us has to do the needful. If everybody is shying away from it, it's my ministry. I have to restore home. I have to deliver the oppressed. I have to set loose those that are bound. And the Lord will set you loose in Jesus' name. Pastor Soji, I thought you've gone. Lord bless you. Thank you very much. Oh, thank you, sir. Pastor Tayo said they will host me when I'm in US. Honestly, I have to see you at First Lady. I just have to see you so that you do your romance face to face for me. God bless you, man of God. Thank you very much. God will give me a good man. I'm like, oh yes, that is certain. As for me, I'm very okay. And when I do matchmaking, people say, oh, you're matching people, you're not matching yourself. I said, because I'm not on a platter for sale. It's not for me. I don't market. I'm selling products. I don't sell my. I'm not for sale. I have that person somewhere, and the Lord has told me he's getting prepared and getting ready. Don't worry. I'm okay. I'm doing my work. God bless you, everybody. So stay blessed, stay strong, keeps your home strong. Like somebody said, bang your wife very well. Bang your husband very well. You are not committing any sin. Don't let anybody deceive you. You see that your wife glows. Go and check Pastor Tayo Ajibade's wife. Check Pastor Soji Johnson's wife. They glow. These are men that knows and appreciates their wife. Look for their needs, meet their needs, and they will be the best women on earth and the best men on that. Thank you very much. I sign out to everyone. Pastor Niyo Lishola, you are just joining. God bless you, sir. We'll see you next week. Thank you, everyone. Pastor Ebra, Pastor Emmanuel, everybody. The Lord bless you. Have a good night. By the grace of God, if the Lord tarries, we see again next Wednesday, 8:30 p.m. The Lord keep you, make his face to shine upon you, and shield us with the blood. Thank you very much, everybody. Good night. Stay blessed.